Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, this is a cup match. Just was setting up. Cup match round of 64. Tenerim versus Athos. Scorpion versus Unicorn. And so we have Tenerim here is playing Scorpion Unicorn Dishonor, as his deck is called, with Scorpion Splash, obviously 2 Fate Worse Than Death, 3 Backhanded Compliment, and 2 Calling in Favors. We have... Can you not hear me now? I'm muted. Oh, okay, cool. Yep, and so we have, let's see, we have Mia Satoshi in Dynasty. We have some yurts, probably going to be for Fate, as it's kind of awkward to give your opponent honor when you're trying to dishonor them. And then we see 2 censures, 3 court games, 3 for shame, pretty standard. Unicorn actually have a decent amount of good courtiers. And then we see 3 favorite mounts, 3 spyglasses, 2 talismans, 2 fans for attachments. Trying to get that E-Day Trader train going. And then we see on the Scorpion side, yet again, we'll see someone else try and win with Chris's deck. So far, he's really the only one who's had consistent success with the deck. This is, as you can see, a literal copy of Irish Kote. I mean, the core Kote was like a couple of months, or like a full month ago, I think. And I think the meta has shifted quite a bit, and that these type of decks, if you don't know how to pilot them really well, don't really favor versus these new decks. But I mean, it is Unicorn, so we'll see if that matters. Looks like Tenerim's game is up. Let's just see what his password is. Shoot, do you want to cast? You're in chat. Do you want to cast? I don't have anyone talking with me. I'm currently just listening to music in the background. Yeah, alright. Something about your English not being good, I understand. Oh, it looks like Tenerim is streaming this in French. So that's pretty sweet. Or not French. I don't know what language he speaks actually. He said he's from Sweden, I think. Oh wait, never mind. This is for the he posted something for the Paris thing. Just waiting on Athos here. I guess I'm just gonna finish eating breakfast while I'm waiting. Oh, oops, I didn't mute my mic. Sorry. I was, eating some oatmeal, Matrim. That's my bad, guys, sorry. Hell yeah, Joe. Come on, man. Can't let any of that go to waste. Didn't your parents teach you? No, Joe is definitely at work. I would have asked him already. Shoot, to be fair, I only asked you because I knew for like 50% you would turn me down. It was just a free roll, right? Because if you turn me down, it's expected, but if you say yes, it's awesome. I'm Mind's Desire on most things. Unless the name is taken, and then it's some variation on Mind's Desire. Usually it's the casting cost. So it's usually like 4 UU Mind's Desire. Or in this case on Twitch it was Mind's Desire with 2 E's. Looks like Scorpion won the die roll. So already starting out, unfortunately, for Unicorn. He queued up his Unicorn, and now he has to go first. Unlucky, if you ask me. Alright, so Tenerim mulls 3 cards in Dynasty. Let's see. Athos mulligans also 3 cards from Dynasty. Let's see a row real quick. Tenerim's province row is before the throne, meditations, pilgrimage, and rally, and then he has entrenched position under his stronghold. We have normal Scorpion row, secret cache, meditations, pilgrimage, shameful, entrenched position. Alright, so we see Moto Juro, and we see Mia Satoshi. I wonder what Tenerim will go for first here. We also see a Keeper Initiate. On the Scorpion side, we see Nice, Liar, Rumor Monger, and Shouju. I'm pretty sure we're going to just see a Liar pass from Scorpion. Maybe Liar 1 Fate pass. Could see Rumor Monger 1 Fate pass. Rumor Monger not as good against Unicorn. So Tenerim does choose to go for Satoshi. Being able to use his ability. He could pass here if he wanted. He could take the passing fate. Or he could activate Satoshi to go find a duplicate. Because he plays Satoshi with 1 fate, I might think he might activate him, but giving up the passing fade's pretty bad. Okay, so he just chooses to buy Utaku Infantry. So, yep. Scorpion passes, and to nobody's surprise. Oh, and Tenerim floats Imperial Palace, turn 1. He throws it on what I can imagine might be Shameful Display. That would probably be the best. Oh no, he's running Pilgrimage. So he could throw it on Pilgrimage. Pretty sick spot there, having a 7 strength Pilgrimage. Look, Joe, you don't need Shameful Display when you can just backhanded compliment them, alright? You should know all about that card since that's all you do all day is give people backhanded compliments. Am I right? Pilgrimage with Talisman is also really strong. You can just move any conflict that's not going to break over to Pilgrimage. See, I love Shoots like when I know Shoot's laughing, he just says ah ah. Every time I see that, I just can think of the Count from Sesame Street. Ah ah ah. Alright, so looks like Unicorn. Unicorn is gonna poke in here. Look, Shoot, I think it's endearing, alright? I definitely don't want you to stop. But that's all I can think of when I see it, is is the Count from Sesame Street. So, Unicorn face plants into Secret Cache here. Definitely not what he wants to see. Ideally, you want to find Meditations. You want to find Meditations and never break it, pretty much. Yeah, just like the Brazilian laugh is Hue Hue. That's, What are you trying to say, Shoot? Are you saying the Brazilian people are evil? That's pretty racist. I wouldn't go around making those claims. I'm just joking for anyone watching. What is IASIP? Alright, now I gotta look this up. I don't know, Joe. I would assume so? Would it just be South American would be the race? I don't know. I would say Brazilian is. They're definitely the most different out of all the South American countries. So, we see a Void Attack actually just get unintended, sorry. We see a Void Attack just not matter, as Tenerim just gets the Keeper Initiate. He doesn't actually he doesn't resolve the Void Ring. He does protect his Satoshi from the Void Ring, though. We see, after the Unopposed, we see Scorpion Steel with the Stronghold. If Tenerim can get a lot of his Keepers in the graveyard, Keepers are really good against this type of deck, where you just kind of present these stupid small threats. Yeah, if Scorpion wants to attack, they can attack pretty freely. There's not that many dangerous provinces from Unicorn. And of course hits Meditation's here, so no effect at all. Unicorn provinces, not very strong. Oh, it's always sunny, gotcha, Nix. So this is a water ring. Why is he contesting water? Can anyone in chat tell me why he's contesting water here? I can't see a reason. Tenerim defends with Keeper Initiate to stop the unopposed and potential break. He plays mono no ORA. Oh, I see. So he's gonna mono no ORA and then bow the Satoshi. Pretty smart, actually. That's actually a pretty good line. It's not the most impactful mono I've seen, but it's definitely, if he gets this water ring to fire, it's pretty sick, actually. Hey, what's up, Enagon? So Tenerim passes here, so we're gonna see this water ring bow Satoshi. Really strong play, actually. Definitely a strong combo. There had to be a reason he went for water, right? Like that's why I was asking. Nah, I'm not doing too bad. I just woke up. Gonna cast this game. Got to do some stuff for school, and then gonna go grab some lunch. So, Tenerim is going to get favor here, and he does have 2 copies of Censure. But he definitely took a really big tempo. Yeah, I told you, after I cast the game and go do the school stuff, it'll be like 2 p.m., and I'll go get lunch. Yojimbo, Soldier Token Yojimbo's not even that good. Tenerim's not running any 3-strings provinces, and the Scorpion deck doesn't play any buffs, so that the Yojimbo would just get a ring effect. I know the Scorpion deck doesn't really go for ring effects as much as it does breaks with the Yojimbo. So as per the course, we see a big fate lead for the Scorpion player here, and with that mono no aura, he clears the board. We actually see Shoju bot, very surprisingly. I wonder what Tenerim's gonna buy here. He doesn't have a great flop. He can buy Giver and Border Rider, but Border Rider is really weak to Assassination in this matchup, and the Scorpion player has seen a lot of cards. So at this point, with my opponent playing two Assassinations, I would play Border Rider with 1 fate maybe, and just expect it to get assassinated. Could play 0 fate maybe. So we see 1 fate. That's fine. It's gonna get assassinated almost assuredly. Legion of One is good in Lion, but it's actually not as good in Lion, I think, as in like other clans. Lion, it's kind of a Nambo with the Lion Stronghold. Yeah, Chris, definitely a bad Scorpion deck. But to be fair, you're the only person who ever does well in the cups with your deck, so I'm unsure if it's people don't know how to play the deck, or if the deck has kind of been figured out to an extent. Oh wow, my mic was muted that whole time. Holy crap. Were you guys hearing me? Well, I hope you were hearing me. Alright, well, anyways, I was saying that I don't think I care for Legion of One in Lion as much, because... Oh, okay, you were hearing me. Okay, cool. Yeah, Legion of One is nice and tall Lion. But in I think... That's true, Matrim. Widwin is indeed not playing in this league, but unfortunately Chris decided to play Unicorn this league, so... But I think Chris is pretty much locked for the Invitational. So, if we take a look at... While nothing is happening here... Take a look at the bracket. So, I think Chris lost in the play-in stage. Yeah, Chris lost in the play-in stage, so he didn't get any points for the season. But even with a 0-point season, and a 0-point season in season 1, Chris has 16 and 13 points from 2 seasons. I'm pretty sure he's still very easily locked for the with like one more good season. I'm pretty sure he's locked for the Invitational. Well, he's playing Crane, so I mean, all he has to do is like get 3 points or whatever, and he'll be at 30 plus. I'm pretty sure that would lock you for a top 8 spot in points, even with taking a full 0 season after excluding one of his 0 seasons. That should show you how well he's done in the previous 2 cups with 16 and 13 points. So we see Yojimbo come out with 1 Fate here. Let's see. We saw early pass we saw pass from Scorpion, and Tenerim also passed. What do you mean, Grody? Top 16 has nothing to do with clan? Are we talking about the Invitational? The Invitational has nothing to do with clan. It's just based on performances from players, and then there'll be 4 LCQ spots, last chance qualifier spots, where people can try and it'll be a large single elim tournament like a cup. And players can try and qualify. One last chance to qualify. The top 4 players of that tournament will also qualify for the Invitational, along with the cup winners themselves. At the moment, we're trying to figure out whether or not to like lock people into the clans that they've played the most during the seasons, or what they won with. But there's been a lot of people asking or you know, making arguments against that. So, we see Yojimbo run into Pilgrimage here. This attack can never ever survive. Or, sorry, it can never ever work because the Scorpion doesn't have any buffs. Pilgrimage here will just stop this ring from firing. You and Chris have both made arguments, Nix, and Chris made a much better argument than complaining like you. Well, it's more along the lines of the way the L5R system would have been set up, is that it would be like what you you play, right? But Chris and I had a long conversation, and he made some very strong points. So I think it's better if we just allow people to pick for the first one and see how that plays out. I would imagine that most people would pick their. I would imagine most people would pick their own clan. Chris spoke my language, Nix, and he gave me a magic analogy instead of just whining like you did. but yeah, we're definitely gonna be looking at allowing people to pick, and then see how, see what people pick, right? I think especially with the Phoenix pack being legal for the Invitational, because it will be in May. I think it'll be fun. Oh, I understood, Nix. I understood. I just needed more than one person. When you file a motion, you need someone to second your motion. All right, so we see Tenerim actually moving into this conflict for some reason. I don't understand why, as Scorpion literally can't break this. Even with a second Yojimbo, they can't break this. So I find this move very interesting. I mean, Gertie, if someone wants to play a clan they never played in the Invitational, good for them. I don't think anyone will, because I think the people who make the Invitational will be some of the most competitive players we have, and we are looking. Oh, Kratos, yeah, that's fair. We could see a policy debate, and because of that, maybe we see a let go on the fan. That's another point, Mad Magician. It's just you waste your Border Rider ability. But I guess the Border Rider is never going to be able to defend against Shoju, but you could use the Border Rider to do 2 attacks. Oh, yeah, sure. The top player, I mean, Chris is already doing that, right? He's played, after his 2 good runs of Scorpion, he's played Unicorn, and he's playing Crane right now. And then, I think it's better to have your Border Rider just do 2 attacks. At this point, it feels like Scorpion doesn't have an assassination, if they're going to let go of the fan, as opposed to assassinating it. Yeah, that's a fair point, Mad Magician. Yeah, Chris has said that he loves playing ponies, but they're just not good. Alright. I need some action in this game. This is pretty abysmal to see nobody making any moves. Whose priority is it? It's priority on Tenerim. Come on, guys, don't make this a 3-hour game. Is it really that unrealistic to ask people to play with some sense of urgency? That's another thing. When Chris plays this deck, it doesn't take a billion years to play. Everyone else who plays this deck so slow. No, I just woke up. Handsome Dan. I'm totally good. So we see a charge trying to initiate, and then we see an edict from Athos, dishonoring Shoju. He's trying to charge Motojuro and then back out. Just 5-cost event, your opponent discards down to 4. That'd be pretty sick. Nix, I'm pretty sure that event would just be put into Scorpion though. Just another form of control. Nah, Mad Magician, if you're gonna put charge in Unicorn with the exact same printing it has right now, it should be 3 influence. If you want, you can make charge just charge a cavalry character. If charge charged cavalry characters, it'd be a lot better. Ferris was good and extended also, Chris. So, I mean, Ferris definitely had more than just standard. But yeah, Ferris in modern right now is definitely bad. I would agree. I do have Bitter Blossom in my Affinity sideboard. I have 2 Bitter Blossoms. I just got my 2nd Japanese one, actually. What do you mean? Motojuro here is a cavalry character. This card right here, Motojuro, cavalry, Bushi, cavalry. See? I see the keyword. I can read. Reading has been established. So we see a charged Nice coming out for Scorpion. Again, Scorpion still, like, even without defending, there was no way Scorpion could have broken this province. I don't understand what's happening here, but nothing. We should just be seeing passes from Tenerim. Maybe we can see some Nice activations, but there's just nothing that can happen on this province. This one conflict is taking far too long. Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing that's happening. So, okay, so we see a second charge coming in here. Charges in Motojuro. Again, cavalry, Bushi cavalry, in case people don't remember. Look, it's not salty. It's more the fact that I'm saddened. I'm saddened by the pace of play. How's that? All right, so Motojuro moves out. And there we go. The conflict finally resolves. Disappointed, disheartened, you know, a lot of adjectives to use. All right, so Motojuro is gonna probably make a military earth here. Interesting that Athos decides to cycle a Way of the Scorpion. Way of the Scorpion is quite good against Unicorn, as they just have a lot of randomly high glory characters. Like, for some reason, Unicorn just has... Oh, yeah. The Sloth DMV. That movie is great, by the way. Alright, so we get a peek at a hand here. We see Bonsai, Policy Debate, Fate Worse Than Death, Cav Reserves, Assassination, Calling in Favor of Spyglass, Backhanded Compliment, Court Games, Wayfinder. Pretty strong hand, actually. No, Chris, it does not look like it's been scheduled yet. They might play it impromptu, because it looks like Mittens was having some issues getting scheduled with Kingsley. So from what I've heard, they have not been able to get a schedule down, so, you know, hopefully they finish it by Sunday. As much as I do like Mittens, like, I like Mittens a lot, but I would love to see Kingsley win so he can play Joe, because I think that would be a really sick round of 32 match. Also, Crab vs. Crab games are really dumb. I think the Crab Mirror might be the worst one. Maybe the Crab Mirror. First cut is the 11th, Gordy. It's at the top of the spreadsheet. So it's the 11th at, what, midnight? Yeah, 11th midnight at, Pacific Standard Time. I think Crab Mirror might be the worst. Maybe Crane Mirror. Not quite sure. Those two I think are definitely the worst mirrors. Lion Mirror maybe. There's just like those three maybe. Yeah, the Dragon Mirror is actually really fun now. Pathfinder's Blade drastically did change the Dragon Mirror. Oh, I'm sorry guys. Season 5, yeah, Kabosh. The Season 5 first cut is the 16th, it's midnight on the 16th, so 11:59 on the 15th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is -8. I think Lion, Crab, and Crane are all particularly horrible. So Wayfinder reveals Shameful Display, so not gonna run into that. The other two provinces are Meditations and Shameful, or sorry, and Pilgrimage. So 50-50 to hit Meditations is really good. Yeah, you need 3 games done by the 15th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be posting reminders. I think Monday I'll make a quick reminder to people. Yeah, I would agree, Chris. When you have someone who has your number, I could see that. I think the Dragon Mirror is actually quite good. I think the Dragon Mirror is quite enjoyable. We've never seen a Unicorn Mirror because it just doesn't happen. Like the Unicorn, it is extinct. Or never existed. Who knows? And let's see. Scorpion Mirror is fine. It can get a little bit boring. The problem with the Scorpion Mirror is that the way that the game ends is just like predetermined. It's going to be a Dishonor match. Unicorn Mirror actually sounds pretty sweet, right? It's just a lot of movement effects and like cool things happening. Like I think the Unicorn Mirror is probably really cool. I can see that, Chris. Like, I mean, I could definitely see that being a valuable thing. Probably gonna see Motojiro go in here, try and find meditations. If Unicorn finds meditations, would you just let them break? Like, I think it's entirely reasonable to just allow them to break. Well, I mean, changing your deck in pods is just pointless because it doesn't teach you anything. It just teaches you to attack for one matchup. I mean, you can definitely do it. I just don't think it helps you as a player. I understand if you need the crutch though. Like if you definitely need the crutch of teching your deck, I can understand. Probably gonna see a Fury here. City of Lies activation into a Fury. Favor Nice discards Calling in Favors. Interesting. I would not discard Calling in Favors in this matchup. Why didn't I name my deck Copy of Test? Kingsley copied my deck. My deck is just called Test. I could understand if you would mess that up also, Nix. Somebody too lazy to check their facts. Yeah, it's the original name, Test. Like, I don't understand. Much better. Agreed. Thank you for agreeing with me. There's a difference between changing your deck and then, like, literally teching your deck for a certain matchup and that you're not going to play against anyone else. That's just, like, hard. It's not quite angle shooting, but it's definitely hard angling. Like, where you're just trying to gain a small incremental advantage that you could not accrue in a real tournament. It's just better to play your pod with like basically the same splash and what you plan on playing. You can definitely do what you want, but it doesn't help you as a player. Alright, well, interestingly that Shoju chooses not to defend there and just kill Motojiro. I guess Motojiro would leave then. So we see a keeper come back here. I guess it's a deck building exercise. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things that, like, if people are gonna do it for sure, but I don't think it's helpful. Playing like a mirror match, for instance, with a tech deck doesn't help you in the cup versus when you're playing the actual deck that you lock in. Well, you're just never gonna play any tournaments, right? Because you live in a part of the world that there just aren't any tournaments. So I guess it doesn't matter, right? I didn't need help because I played the same deck that I've been playing for months. I just happened to be playing the same deck that I've been playing for months, so it was just pretty easy. But I'm pretty excited for the Phoenix pack, for people to be trying out new cards. I am ready for some small stirring of the pool. Gonna see a political attack here from Shoju. he can freely attack a province. It's bad if he hits. It's particularly bad if he hits rally to the cause. Interesting. The problem is that Tenerim can't actually... Tenerim has multiple core games in his hand, but if Athos plays a core games, he can break Pilgrimage. Wait. What are we seeing here? Yeah, this is Scorp Dragon. It's Chris's list. Yeah, race car, that's the point. That's why I'm saying Nyx can definitely do it. But at the top level, if you're trying to become a better player by taking this kind of shortcut and making something easier, it doesn't help you in the next portion of the event. So while you may do good in group stages, you won't do well in the cup because you haven't practiced any of the matchups with your real splash or with your real deck list. You can take as much advantage of it as you want, but I mean, it just doesn't help you. It doesn't help you learn anything. I mean, look, Nyx, you said it, not me. I'm just saying. If we take a look at these invitational points, a little bit behind here, all the way down in 24th place. Just saying. I don't... Okay, so the line that I would take is not to defend, and then if my opponent plays court games, I would attempt to play another court games of my own. And then if it doesn't work, I would let Pilgrimage break, because there's no way you can stand in front of Shoju here without losing all your guys. Yeah, but I don't need help to beat people in the group stages by teching my deck. At a top level, top players have enough... Top players would just don't bother teching their deck because there's no reason to. I don't need an advantage in making the cut. Like, that's the point, right? Like a top player doesn't need help. That's the same reason you see the same people in the cut every single season. Alright, so Tenerim defends with 2 characters. It's not throwing away an advantage. I have an advantage over people that I play because I'm better than them. That's just the truth. It's not throwing away advantage. It's by playing my deck, by playing the deck that I'm gonna play in the cut and tuning that deck, I at least get more practice in matchups. Like well, there's no sideboarding in this game, so that's just a moot point. Like you can't compare sideboarding to this because it's just not actually the same thing. That's not sideboarding at all. It's like it's pre-boarding. No, it's not. It's the same. What you're suggesting is pre-boarding, where you're playing. Sure, Ty. I think in this game if I'm better than my opponent. Yeah, if I'm better than my opponent, I think it's like 90+%. It's very easy. It's very easy to beat someone who's worse than you because you have so much control over your variants. Even if I draw poorly, I can still play out of it. because I draw so many cards per turn, and I get to mulligan so often. Yeah, see, Chris understands. It sounds elitist because it is elitist, but I mean, the point that was being brought up was that top players, right? Yeah, sure. Like Handsome Dan, the reason that I play the cup and this is just to practice my deck list, you know, to play against good competition, to become a better player. You know, it's fun, obviously, and you know, just constantly evolving my list. Like my test list, I think has gone through like 20 different iterations. I'm constantly adjusting it. Like the list that I'm playing right now in the cup for this season is like four versions behind of what I'm testing right now. And then, you know, when new cards come out. I mean, that too, Chris, but I mean, also, I just don't need the help. Sure, I understand that, shoot. Like, it's definitely harder, like if you get unlucky. Yeah, exactly, Gertie. Like, I'm not changing my splash or, like, changing, like, my deck, my tech choices. Okay, real quick, let's go ahead and go into the game real quick. We actually saw some action. Okay, so Shoju kills the Keeper Initiate. Shoju kills the Wayfinder. Court Games honors. Motojuro moves in. Keeper Initiate got Fate Worse Than Death? Whoa. Alright, well, that's a first. Keeper Initiate has been Fate Worse Than Death. And then Pilgrimage is breaking. Interesting. It's not really, I don't know if I was being smug, I was just I was being very blunt. Like, yeah, like, if I came across as smug, I apologize, but it's not about being smug, it's just being about very blunt, which is just my personality. Like, that's just how I feel. I think deep down, most of the top, in quotation marks, players who make the cut every single season. Yeah, shoot. Fate Worse Than Death on the Keeper Initiate. I have never seen it before, but... So, we see the Favor actually blocking the Pilgrimage break, which is pretty insane. Pilgrimage here just being an all-star. If this was Shameful Display, it, like, probably wouldn't have mattered still. The fact that his Pilgrimage is huge. What? Why is he attacking Secret Cache? Huh. I think this is crazy. I wouldn't. Handsome Dan talking about intermission. Alright, so we see an assassination to kill the Border Rider. I find that odd, as he let go to Fan. I don't think that was very good. Oh, he must have found the assassination off of... Yeah, he must have found the assassination off the Secret Cache. This makes more sense. Yeah, so he found assassination off Secret Cache, which makes sense here. Scorpion is dipping a little bit on the honor, but they're going to stronghold to 7. Tenerim is playing 3 backhanded compliments, so we could see some dishonor bomb, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of about sideboarding. I don't know. Basically, what was suggested was pre-boarding. It was more about pre-boarding. Really, what it is where you basically tech for a matchup before. Like, if I could always have Ancient Grudge against a deck that's playing artifacts, I would start with Ancient Grudge in my deck, sure. But it doesn't actually help me because it's not a main deckable card, or it's not a configuration that I would run at the start of a tournament. Yeah. I mean that also, but I mean that was the example that got brought up. Sure. I can see it, Nick. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying that I personally wouldn't do it. That's literally what I was trying to get at. Is that I don't think that it's necessarily that helpful. If I want to test known configurations and matchups, I'll literally just ask somebody who plays that clan and do it. Like I'll ask somebody that I want to. Yeah, I don't know why he attacked Secret Cache. I think he should have just attacked Pilgrimage realistically. Like he got that fade off the ring. All right, so we see Shinjo Alton Sarnai. Not as good as Motojuro, but this is the actual Unicorn Champion. In case people don't know what this card does. It's a 5 mana, 5/4 with 2 glory, and then it has a reaction after you break a province during a military conflict with this character participating. Your opponent has to sacrifice a creature. Really, really bad. Well, he wouldn't break Pilgrimage. You could just attack Pilgrimage. Mad Magician. Hypothetically, I think their pre-boarding is just dumb. It'll just get people with the warped decks, right, where everyone's just attacking super hard for each matchup, and you won't see like what a real game would look like. Like I think part of deck building, I think part of the strength of deck building and part of the strength of the clans is to have advantage versus multiple matchups. I think you should build a deck that does not fold to any one matchup, but also just doesn't like crush any one matchup. Like that's just the best part. That's like the best deck is it just has game versus every deck. At least this is all my opinion. So we see Moto Youth 1 Fate, Socioluzionist 0. Probably gonna see a pass from Scorpion. Gonna see maybe Giver of Gifts. Yeah, race car. You play the game by the rules that you're given, but I mean, it doesn't help you if you're going to do anything else. Like it doesn't help you. I'm not hating. I'm literally not hating. I'm just saying that I wouldn't do it. Like you guys are all saying that I like think people who do it are scum or something. I don't really care if someone else does it. I just don't think that it's something that a good player would need to do. Yeah, that's the problem though, Mad Magician, is that it's not like Magic because it's a best of one. I think like it's not something you'd be able to sideboard for. You would have to know your matchup going in, and so that only works in open decklist formats where you're in the top cut of something. In Swiss rounds, you don't know what you're playing against, so you can't pre-board. Yeah, I am saying that race car because all of the top players don't do it. Yeah, Grody, I do play a lot of Magic. I think province selection would be decent. Yeah, I think players doing it is fine, race car. I'm literally just saying that I don't think that I think, and I have it on pretty good authority that most top players wouldn't do it. Inagon, do you ever change your deck list based on your matchup in group stages for the cup? No, you don't need to add Time Soldier Token. The problem with it in real life is that you don't know what you're playing against. Yeah, Grody, I play quite a bit of Magic still. I'm a limited specialist. We finished in 19th at Team Seal GP recently. I finished 30. I think I finished top 32 at the individual limited GP. Riot in the Streets is not standard, but it is definitely playable in Unicorn. They do have a lot of Bushi. Yeah, see, exactly. That's what I meant. Yeah, exactly. See, Inagon understands my point. like that's my point though, is that top players or players who want to be considered top or who have goals of being considered a top player or incredibly good at the game don't need these small edges to do anything when they're not going to play like that in the cup, right? I definitely think it definitely takes a small stock away from your skill as a player if you feel the need to tech your deck. It definitely helps you in the confines of the rules, but as a player, all right, back to the game real quick. Again, both players at mid 5. Man, all this talking and we're still literally in draw phase. Alright, so conflict phase at the beginning. So we did see the Illusionist, we saw the pass, and we saw Giver of Gifts 2 Fate. So Scorpion Stronghold steals 8 to 7 here. So Unicorn's actually in a reasonable spot to get Dishonored now. We could see a switch coming soon. I think some good players would do it. I definitely think good players would do it. I don't think the top the top 2% players would do it. Like, I mean, just looking at, like, if we look at the top players, like, I don't think Maiko would do it. I don't do it. I don't, Inagana said he doesn't do it. I don't think Noman does it. Like, I don't believe that Noman would do it. Yujin doesn't do it. I know Bill doesn't do it. I could see Joe maybe changing and testing things. Kingsley doesn't do it. So I'm just, that's just all I'm saying. If money were on the line, and I would absolutely do it. I agree. Like, but only if money was like for group stage. I do Inagon. I think you're one of the top crab players. Absolutely. So we see Wayfinder reveals entrenched position. He already knows what that is. Tenerim does a political conflict on meditations. Scorpion defends with illusionists. So then Tenerim just passes. Yeah, I mean, laziness is definitely another mark. Well, I mean, so race car, if the if group stages had a reward, like if you 7-0'd your group and you got a reward, I would do it, right? But if it was just to help me get in the cut, I wouldn't do it because I don't feel that I need the help. And I feel that it just doesn't help me as a player. It doesn't help me become a better player. Because it's not a deck that I would ever play outside of one matchup. Yeah, exactly. That's fine. And then when you get to the cup, where the payout in quotation marks is, what helps you win a game? It helps you win a game that you wouldn't necessarily win at. I mean, it is also a skill thing, right? Like, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help you gain any skill with your deck that you would play in a tournament. Mad Magician. There's no real way to make a time limit. Without chess clocks and without all the other problems that happen with online play, it's just not feasible at the moment. Because I'm not too proud to say that I would do the less skillful thing to win money. If I offered you the chance to climb a wall to get to some place or just walk up some stairs, I'm gonna walk up the stairs even though it's not as skillful. I mean, but this behavior doesn't even assist you in the cup, right? Like, so that's the thing. It doesn't even help you in the second leg of this tournament. How does that not make any sense? It's more skillful to climb the wall for the same reward. What do you mean? I would definitely take having something be an advantage and then be skillful is not the same thing. You can gain an advantage of something and still have it not be skillful. Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying. By skill, I mean like a player skill. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help your player skill with the deck that you would play in the top cut though. And that's what most people's goal is when they enter, is to at least make the top cut. And when you make the top cut, you lock in your deck list. So again, teching for a matchup and winning that matchup in group stages, and then you play that matchup in the cup with the deck that you've locked in. If it's not that tech deck, you're at a disadvantage because you just played. No, it's not cheating. Yeah, but see, the goal is to make the top cut. It's very easy to make the top cut without having to do those things. I don't know. I don't know, Chris. That's pretty funny though. Pre-boarding is not cheating, Gertie. The whole discussion is that I personally don't think that it helps you grow as a player, and I don't think it helps you in the top cut of the tournament. Top cut of this tournament is top 64. There's nothing happening in the game. Shoot, there's literally nothing happening. It's still the it's still Scorpion's attack. There's no blocks. There's nothing happening. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about this tournament. And then if you're talking about a real life tournament, that's like top 32 or top 23 or whatever the cut is. All right, so we have Shoujo attacking Pilgrimage again. Now we'll see. Unicorn isn't even playing. Like, the players have taken so long with their plays. I've literally had a discussion while watching the game. Chris, you need to like make a guide on how to play this deck faster. Like, maybe you should just suggest to people to like, take an energy drink or something. Like, speed their brains up. I think Amaro, like, the art is really cool, and I think the card concept is really cool. I definitely think that's one of the cooler and better designed cards that Fantasy Flight has done. It's symmetrical, and it's just a cool mechanic, right? Like, it's very crab feeling. But I'm not sure if it's gonna be good. Let's see. So Inigon says, my Crab Unicorn match is weaker than Crab Crane in Scorpion matchup, but when he gets to the cup, he'll see many Scorpions, so why should I change my playstyle and plan to then lose to all the Scorpions in the top 64? If, let's say, I would believe changing my deck would generally help, then I would do it for all the matchups. It's on Mad Magician, it's on Reddit, it's on the Discord, a lot of different things. Oh, for sure. There will also be times, Handsome Dan, where you buy Amaro and you buy another character, and they, on their first conflict, they assassinate your other character, and you have to sacrifice Amaro to himself on your political attack. That will also be satisfying, I have to admit. Yeah, Ham Hops, it's one of those things that's like... Tenerim here is pointing out what a lot of players know, and that Shoujo is a giant piece of shit, basically, because he just kills people. He is basically a Bayushi chainsaw, where if you get in front of him, he cuts you in half. Shoot, are you ready for this? This is what France is going to be like. It's just going to be a lot of people playing Chris's deck very slowly. I hope you're ready for it. Oh yeah, Grody, on the subject real quick of you of you asking if I still play a lot of Magic, I have a tournament coming up on the weekend of the 24th. Team constructed. I'll be playing Modern for my team, and then I'm going to be playing a team sealed when Dominaria comes out in April. So it should be really fun. Offer them Red Bull. I don't think it's okay. Tenerim doesn't defend. It looks like he's just going to try and court games to dishonor Shoju to see what's going to happen. I would say that Magic is definitely more my game because I've played it longer. I played Magic for almost 2/3 of my life. I've been playing Magic for 20 years with a 5-year break, so I played Magic for 15 years. So half my life. I've played Magic for half my life. It's definitely more my game because there's just more to do with it. I can go draft, I can cube, I can just do, there's just so many different formats in Magic. At the moment, L5R is the game that I play in my free time. I don't really practice Magic anymore, because I've just played it for so long. When a tournament is coming up, I'll start playing, the constructed format of the choice, or I'll start jamming limited of that format, but it's mostly just leading up to the tournament. I don't just do it every day. Like L5R, I'll play like maybe a game a day, or I'll watch, or I'll talk about it on the Discord. So I definitely enjoy the new game. Yeah, Chris. The conversations here definitely aren't useful if anyone should be ghosting. Yep, we're literally just waiting here. And so, yeah, Inagon, Magic is definitely expensive. I have sold out of most of my collection. Real quick, I'm gonna answer Ham Hop's question. I think that M25 will be a really fun format to draft, and I think it'll do fine for the secondary market, but it's fine. It's definitely just fine. Mad Magician, the concept of ghosting is when you just sit in and watch a Twitch chat. It was popularized in like League of Legends, where you would, if a streamer was playing, you would then watch them and look at their minimap or stuff. I mean, there is a way to police it. But I mean, if they are truly ghosting, it's not possible because they just don't sign into an account and just watch the stream. But I can look at the viewer list and see if one of these players are doing so. There's a small delay on Twitch also, but I do understand. Okay, so here's the court games. Like I said, Tenerim will play. Dishonor Shoju, and prevents the break for now. Let's see if Athos... Yeah, Athos has his own... Oh no, Athos just has Soci Illusionist, of course. He doesn't even need his own court games. Alright, so looks like Pilgrimage is finally going to break here. We'll find out. Inagon Magic is expensive. Yeah, Soldier Token for sure. You have to put a delay on stuff for like the mocks, just because like seeing someone's hand is just huge information. But like it's just the business of streaming, right? You gotta take it where you go. I sold most of my collection a couple years ago. I sold my Legacy deck for $6,000 US. And I sold the rest of my collection. I think I sold most of my collection, and I ended up with like $18,000 US. I used it to take a trip to India. I basically lived my life. Yeah, it's really important when, especially if your deck doesn't give you the opportunity to look at their hand, and when you only draw one card per turn. Yeah, so currently the only Magic cards that I own, I have a binder of just random cards that I just like that have sentimental value to me that aren't worth that much, and then I have my my Modern deck, which is full Japanese. It's my Affinity deck. It's fully in Japanese. I think if I sold my Modern deck, it's like I think I have like $1,500 to $1,800 on my Modern deck. Like if I was just to sell it out right now. Alright, so Pilgrimage finally breaks because Shoju can't be stopped. Tenerim passes their conflict opportunity. Not that great. So we're going to see this Yojimbo get in here. Yeah, Inagon. Joe, I think I might have spent well below that. I think I might have spent like $5 on the game over the amount of time it took me to build my collection. I've been playing the game for so long that a lot of the cards that I sold have just like gone up thousands of percentages in value, right? Like the land that one of the lands that I sold is was called the Tabernacle at Pendlevale. The Tabernacle of Pendulum, for instance, I got it when I was a kid, and I had literally had it for 20 years or whatever. And when I sold it, I got it from when it was worth maybe like $50 or whatever. And when I sold it, it was worth I got $1,200 for it. Yeah, Soldier Token. I've been playing Legacy since it was called Type 1.5. Legacy was really big on the East Coast. I'm from upstate New York, and Rochester has a pretty big Legacy scene. I used to play in stuff like the Mana League Open and stuff. So I had tons of dual lands, before they spiked. Yeah, exactly. Ham helps understand. Yeah, 1.5. I never really went to neutral ground. I did used to go to the Mana League Open in Connecticut. Mana League Open was super fun. There was like Power 9 tournaments. I have 4 pieces of power. I had a Mox Ruby, a Mox Sapphire, a Time Walk, and an Ancestral Recall. Yeah, Ham Hops knows. So that was another part of my collection. I sold my power. Oh, Neff, do you really live in Rochester? I used to live in Pittsburgh. I live in Indianapolis now, but I lived in Rochester for like 25 years. Yeah, I went to Pittsburgh Mendon High. All right, so real quick, we see a attack on Rally to the Cause here. Covert's the giver of the gifts, and we see Moto Youth getting in here. Covert's giver of gifts because if he coverts the Moto Youth, the Stronghold can move him in. Neff, do you go to Millennium then? Is that because I'm actually a Red Sox fan, Handsome Dan, which is really funny. Yeah, awesome, Neff. Yeah. I grew up in Henrietta. No, the game is still going on. I'm just like nothing's happening, right? So we're seeing an attack on Rally to the Cause here, because Tenerim has chosen to defend. Yeah. So we see Bonsai here on the Moto Youth. He kicks it, so he loses an honor. Or no, he hasn't kicked it yet. He's trying to decide if he should kick it. If you don't, you're susceptible to charge or another Yojimbo or an adept actually. Alright, so City of Lies gets used here. I bet you this is going to reduce the charge, and we'll see charge Unako here. That's pretty sweet, Neff. Yeah, I grew up going to Millennium. It used to be in the space where the Indian store is now, and so they swapped spaces, and I used to go then. It was definitely what I used to do on Sundays. Oh wait, Athos lives in, wait, does Athos actually live in Rochester too? That's wild. He was in my group. I didn't even know that. That's pretty wild. Small world. Alright, so here's the charge on Unako, like I said. Unako swaps Moto Youth, so Moto Youth is down to 0. I came back in town to visit my dad I want to say like a year ago, and I just stopped in to pick up a card actually, because I was on my way to a tournament in New Jersey, and yeah, it's really big now. All right, so we see Athos claim the favor now that Tenerim Sentries are off now. And Tenerim has backhanded elements in his deck, so I'm not really sure how he's going to win this game. Shoju has only one more turn in play, but Shoju again threatening to break one more province now that he can go after meditation safely. This Unicorn deck just doesn't have an answer to Shoju. Shoju has entered play and has killed 2 characters and broken Pilgrimage with a Palace on it, and now he's threatening to break on one more. And also, Athos probably has a Kachiko at this point, too. Another Liar here, really strong. Probably buy Liar. You could buy Liar and Illusionist if you want here. I mean, we've Giver of Gifts right in play here with 3 Paul. So, Trader, Giver of Gifts, Tatsuo, Shinjo Alton Sarnai has 4. But I mean, all these characters have 2 glory, which is the problem, right? So like, if Giver of Gifts becomes Dishonored, it dies. That's really the issue. Early 2000s played PTQ Nishikans. Oh yeah, sure. Necro is huge, right? Like, yeah, Necro is awesome. Definitely one of the most fun cards to play with. Necro and Bargain are definitely awesome. I mean, I love playing with Grizzlebrand and Cube, so if I play Legacy nowadays, I usually play lands, but I'll definitely play Sneak and Show because I absolutely love drawing 7 with Grizzlebrand. Soldier Token, you're right. Crab actually has a lot of characters that survive Shouju when Dishonored because they have such low glory. But a fan usually saves a character. It's usually best to just cloud the mine on Shouju. One thing, if anyone in chat doesn't know this, is that Reprieve, cards like Reprieve and Iron Mine don't save a character from perpetually dying. Perpetually dying to Shouju. If you ever, so say Tenerim reprieves his Moto Youth and it dies to Shouju, it just keeps dying because it's already been poisoned. It's pretty, yeah, exactly. Infinite deaths with reprieve. Oh yeah, shoot, I can definitely understand that. Fiery Madness, and Sinister Soshi with Shouju, just wrecking ball. Yeah, when Scorpion plays Shouju against me, I either Fury it or Cloud the Mind it, or he runs into Feast or Famine and I just take all the fate off of him, no big deal. Alright, so we see a political fire here with Shouju on Meditations. If Tenerim has his 1 copy of Captive Audience, this would be the time to play it. We see bids real quick. Tenerim drew 2, Athos drew 5. I'm not really the person to ask, Insane Maniac. I personally don't play Scorpion, even though I do love playing blue and black in Magic. But I think Chris is in chat. Sir Largeness would probably be the best person to answer that. I believe Chris does say to play Cloud the Mind. But I'll let him speak for himself. Let's check Grody, because we have some downtime because the players are going to take a little bit of time. Yes, you do indeed play the winner of this match, Grody. And if it is Yeah. Your deck is really sweet, man. If you play against Scorpion, I really like your chances. I said in chat in when Kingsley was casting that I think that with your list, you're like 80% against Scorpion for sure. Look, if the game never ends, I'm just definitely just gonna get up and go get some food at some point. I gotta I gotta sign up for classes again. Yeah, Joe, have you seen his list? It's 3 Voice of Honor, 3 Censures, 3 Above Question. All right, fine. Maybe like 70. It's pretty sick. Like your list against Scorpion is pretty insane. I don't think that your list could ever beat Crab or Dragon, but I definitely think that you have a hard time. Okay, so we see another Mono Noir right here, wiping the board again. After Meditations is breaking. This has just been brutal. Okay, I can see that. Cancels are pretty good against Crab, but like Crowded District on your above questions is pretty awkward. There's Kachiko, not surprised. So after you play Mono, you play Kachiko. Oh, he's gonna use the firing to honor Kachiko. I see. I'm surprised he plays Kachiko 1 Fate here. I think you should have played more than 1 Fate. The problem with 1 Fating her here is that she's susceptible to being voided now. I would definitely have played her with 2. So Tenerim does have 2 keepers now. So he definitely needs to win a void conflict. If Tenerim can somehow win a void conflict, void Kachiko, his stronghold is not at risk of breaking. It is in trench position, so he will definitely get killed on a political attack, but on a military attack, he has a chance. Yeah, I think the districts are just dumb. It's mostly me griping because one of the districts just happens to counter the deck that my clan plays. At the moment, Dragon just doesn't have a really good deck otherwise. Yeah, I agree. Handsome Dan in Trench definitely does seem like an odd choice. Maybe he's just scared. Maybe he's just scared of Lion and well, in Insane Maniac, there's just no way to do a sideboard in tournament play because you would have to pre-board you'd have to see what your opponent is playing and then sideboard, right? So I think the best, yeah, Conjure District is just absolutely stupid. Insane Maniac, I think the best thing you could do for introducing sideboard in quotation marks is to have multiple provinces to choose from. Like if everyone had 3 extra provinces they could bring, and then after seeing your matchup, you were allowed to swap your provinces. I think that would be the best introduction of changing something in your deck. That's my opinion. You know, I will play with whatever rules are official, but I think that would be best. Yeah, I think both of the districts are just absolutely bonkers. Chisei and Hito district obviously got the short ends of the stick, like just the micro ends of the stick. Yeah, but Insane Maniac, there's just no point in doing deck registration then. Like, why even bother registering your deck then if it's just going to change every single matchup? Shoju will do that, Joe. Shoju is he's a cruel player. Yeah. Athos would have won in time anyway. He was up on breaks. Yeah, indeed, Neff. Yeah, I think province swapping is like legitimately reasonable, right? Like if you just have 3 extra provinces you can bring, like that way if Crane wants to bring Frostbitten Crossing, they can play it against Dragon and Crab and not have to have it in their row against clans that it's just not reasonable. Joe, in draft we were talking about a strategy where you drafted Hito and Chisei District with Mountaintop Statuary, and you got to rebuild them both onto your stronghold, and then your opponent could not attack you. Yeah, like just you have 3 provinces, right? So like you can swap between. It makes the Earth provinces better too. It makes them reasonable to play. So you can play both Earth provinces. Maybe you take Elemental Fury over Rally to the Cause versus Phoenix, and then you can take Frostbitten Crossing is really good as a sideboard card, like stuff like that. I think that would be fine. Maybe in certain matchups, Feast or Famine's not as great as Meditations. Like against Scorpion, for instance, Meditations is a little bit better than Feast or Famine. It's a stronger province, and it has incremental value. I mean, deck variance is going to come from packs, right? Like you just need packs. So we see a Fury on a Moto Youth. We see the Unicorn Stronghold coming in here, and it looks like Scorpion just doesn't prepare for this. We see the Void Ring firing, and the Void Ring voids Kachiko and brings in Double Keeper here. This is definitely this is the problem here, right? Like, so RumHam, or I mean Athos not putting 2 Fate on his Kachiko. Oh, he's gonna go for a Stronghold break here. He's just not gonna be able to do it. Wait, this might actually be the turning point. Every province is Feast or Famine? Yo, I'd be okay with that. I have Pathfinder's Blade. Finger of Jade is really good against Feast or Famine. No, dude, I think Unicorn might actually be... I think this is a big misstep from Scorpion. Scorpion's board is about to void out. They have no Fate. They're down to 6 honor. They can just get backhanded compliment bombed out of the game. Like, it just takes an unopposed and air and some backhanded compliment chains, and you can just randomly lose. I think the mistakes with Kachiko are definitely gonna come here. He just spent 6 Fate for nothing. He can't break the Stronghold. Dude, Joe, bruh, I'm gonna stop you there. Yeah, absolutely. You catch him in a 1 to 5, like it's that. Yeah, exactly, Gertie understands. I would say Neff's in chat. If this happens, Neff has some really good fuel for the next like month or 2 in his real life games. Well, like Scorpion just can't break this. He needs to get to 10, and he has 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so if Unicorn blocks, Unicorn has to block with multiple characters to just like block with probably Utaku Infantry and Keeper. Oh, sure, and then just attack with the Giver of Gifts. Sure, this is fine. Oh, he has military favor too, so 11. I keep forgetting that the Unicorn Stronghold is 0, and so normally you need 12. Normally you need 12 to break. Yeah, 1 Fake Hachiko with Void still on board. Shoot, that is correct. Insane Maniac, yes. Tenerim has 3 backhanded compliments. No, if he draws 5, he goes to 4, and then if you get triple backhanded, you go to 1. 1 card in the deck, you won't lose. This attack's just not gonna work. I have no idea why the Unicorn Stronghold has 0 province of strength. It's so dumb. Normally, with your strong side on the Earth province, you need 12 to break, or 13 if you're Crab, 11 if you're Scorpion. Like, Scorpion having 1 is fair, right? It's so strong. Unicorn has 0, and it's the weakest stronghold in the game. It's so unreal. So we see a policy debate come out here from Kachiko, and we see 2 fate worse than death. 1 backhanded compliment, 1 calling in favors, 2 cav reserves, favored mount, 2 policy debates of his own, spyglass, and talisman of the sun. I'm in the game, dude. I'm literally looking at it. We see one fate worse than death discarded. Yeah, Neff, the same reason that Kanjo has 2. There is no good reason. Needs to balance out the ability. It should have at least 1 then, Sapphire. Come on, dude. It should have at least 1. We have City of the Open Hand that has 1. A whole city is 1? Come on, Outpost is like an outdoor city. Alright, so we see second Fate Worse Than Death coming out here on the Yojimbo. Either Athos doesn't have a edict, or he just doesn't want to play it. Yeah, a singular district is stronger than an outpost. Oh yeah, Chris, you're right. You are correct with that statement. All cities are in fact outdoors. Look, I got nothing. That was just dumb. But I am not too proud to admit that was dumb. Alright, so, looks so far not breaking, but winning. Gonna bow the giver of gifts if he wins. Oh, he just stands Shoju instead. That's fine. That's also reasonable. I think I just make a political Earth here just to grab the fate. Probably attack Pilgrimage. Political Earth on Pilgrimage, if I had to guess. Oh no, you're gonna attack Meditations here. Man, Joe and Handsome down with these underground cities. Just bringing out these crazy facts. Man, all these Twitch Prime people, Handsome Dan, Soldier Token. Actually, a Soldier Token did sub to me. Man, if you Twitch Prime people want to give me a sub, I would totally appreciate being able to afford Chipotle in like another month. You have to apparently accrue at least $100 in revenue before Twitch will send you your money. Alright, so we didn't see an attack here. I think that was a mistake, not taking the fate off of the Earth Ring. It was free. We see the 2 keepers left, and we see Scorpion's board voiding out here. So this is actually, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the turning point. Oh yeah, but you're not subbed to me anymore. I see Joe from Cincinnati is still subbed to me. Yeah, Soldier Token, my boy. Hell yeah. See, it just takes some begging. All you need to do is beg. Alright, so Scorpion's down to 5 honor, Unicorn down to 3. Thanks, Soldier Token. Yeah, no problem, Dan. Look, I'm working on emotes, man. I need to hit certain goals. So we see Border Rider 3 fate. Now that Assassination is pretty safe here. This is not a particularly strong board from Scorpion. Tenerim passes. Tenerim has multiple cavalry reserves. The problem is I don't think these cavalry reserves will resolve. I think both players should be 1. This was a couple years ago, Joe, and I bought a house since. I'm going back to school. Look, I need some Chipotle money. All right. I need some Chipotle money. Hell yeah, shoot. If you fundraise enough money for me, I'll come to France. Last minute, I'll come play. Hell yeah, I'll start a GoFundMe. Fund me to send me for the Paris Cote. I'll go right now. I'll start flying right now. Look, dude, houses are expensive. You should know. Yeah, I'm definitely not a pretty girl. Definitely just a large Indian person. Sorry, a large Indian man. Catfish him, yeah, that'll work. Ham hops. I live in like central India, or I live in Indianapolis. Honestly, it's just it's like the only thing I eat for fast food. Yeah, dude. I wish I was in Los Angeles. I would definitely go get some different food. I usually cook a lot of my food. I cook a lot of Indian food. But like if I'm gonna eat out, I'll go grab Chipotle. It's definitely fine. It's fine, right? Like that. It's definitely better than like McDonald's or something though. We do have a Jewish deli in the city that I go to a lot, but that place is really expensive. Yeah, the folksy those. Oh my god, I missed Thai food. Yo, Neff, if Neff's still in chat, you ever go to the King and I definitely eat more Indian food. Between my cooking and my mom's cooking, I definitely eat more Indian food. All right, so we see a military Earth conflict here. We see an adept come down to block. I have never gotten sick in like 3 years of eating Chipotle. So I'm on survivor bias here, Blue Sapphire. No, that's the Thai place. That's the Thai place, not the Indian place. The king and I in Henrietta is so good. I miss it so much. So Cav Reserves resolves somehow. What? Why did this Cav Reserves resolve? Am I missing something? Does he just not have an edict and 14 cards and 7 left in deck? No, I mean, I've been eating Chipotle since like 3 years ago, right? Like where I regularly ate it. I definitely have not been eating it every day for 3 years. I don't think I would have any money left. I eat it pretty regularly for 3 years. Like, I've just never gotten sick eating it. And, I'm flabbergasted that this Cavalry Reserve's resolved. Just absolutely dumbfounded. I can't think of any more other adjectives. It's definitely survivor bias, though. Just because it didn't happen to me, it means that it can't happen to anyone else, right? Like, it's definitely survivor bias. We see a Meek informant coming down, so it's still policy debate. Cav reserve, a second Cav reserves, calling in favor of spyglass, backhanded. Second debate, mount, fan, talisman, and the third Cav reserves. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Joe. I definitely don't eat that much. So, Scorpion discards core games at random. Tenerim does win the conflict. Well, my insides are pretty cast iron, Joe, from eating all this curry and Indian food. I definitely don't get any intestinal issues from eating ethnic food. But Thai food is what I miss the most, absolutely. Like, if Neff ever gets back in, if favorite Indian meal? Oh god, my mom makes this thing called chicken keema. It's like, it's minced chicken, and she has a special sauce, like special curry base that she uses. I'd probably say keema is one of my favorite meals. I really like matar paneer, which is paneer and peas. Yeah, I think paneer might be my favorite meal, either palak or matar. Yeah, I make very good paneer. I actually just made some the other day. Sog's fine. I don't dislike sog paneer either. Palak paneer is also good. I have I'm South Indian, so we eat dal a lot. I'm not a huge dal fan, but I'll eat it. I definitely like dal. Like after not eating it for a long time, I definitely love it. I'm born and raised in the United States, Gertie. I'm definitely 100% American, but I am of Indian descent. I Yeah, sure. Cornbread's yellow though, I'm pretty sure. But no, I was born and raised in upstate New York. I mean, my parents have been in this country for over 30 years. They're both U.S. citizens. So, I mean, like you probably couldn't tell from their voices either that they're Indian. New Orleans has great food like Popeyes. One of my friends is from New Orleans actually, and all right, real quick, we see a political conflict coming out here, being defended by the Keeper Initiate. Contesting the air ring. I think Tenerim has Juro and favorable ground. He's actually pretty safe here from a. I have not actually. So, real, like I'm a really bad American. Since turning 18 have never voted in anything. I just don't care. It sounds really bad, and I'm sure like people are gonna like yell at me and say that it's bad and give me other reasons. I'll tell you right now, I've heard it all, and I've I just don't care. I'm registered to vote now though, because when I got my Indiana residency and license, I did get registered to vote there, so I am now registered to vote at least. But yeah, I've lived in Indiana for 2 years now. Yeah, exactly. This state is definitely very different from New York. Shoot says I will remove the fundraiser I almost made for you. Well, that's unlucky. In, my life motto, unlucky. Yeah, Joe, it's like in New York. So upstate New York is actually a pretty red area. Like, there's a lot of Republicans up in upstate New York, but because New York City carries such a heavy part of the vote, New York always votes Democrat. So there's just like there's just no choice, right? Like, so the state that I was in for presidential elections, I think for electing in the United States, I think you should elect in terms of smaller states or smaller elections, right? Like local elections, those matter a lot more. In terms of presidential elections, like it's cool to like say you voted for X candidate, but it doesn't matter. Soldier token. I think California is almost like entirely blue, whereas in the state of New York, because like everything outside of New York City is actually pretty red. But because the city is such a high density of the population, it makes the whole state vote blue. So we do see the assassination on the border rider, as Chris called. 3 Fate border rider, see ya. Didn't want to be ya. And now we're gonna see the Scorpion stronghold be activated to put Tenerim down to 2, and then potential air ring firing here. Oh, okay. Thanks, Blue Sapphire. I apologize. Then I have been misinformed. I definitely believe you. As I don't know much about U.S. politics. But yeah, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego are 3 of the largest cities in that state, right? Like, this is insane. Tenerim plays captive audience before Athos can use the stronghold, so he goes down to 2, changes the conflict to military. This has been one hell of a game. Blue, in when I moved to Indiana and I told people I was from New York, everyone always assumed I was from New York City, and it's just like, no, like I'm from upstate New York, right? Like it's basically a different state, right? Like New York City is almost entirely a different state than the rest of New York. All right, so Tenerim's going into the tank now. Oh, that'd be sick. How hype would that be, Kibosh? Well, the problem is that the Scorpion Stronghold will cancel the first backhanded compliment. That's the problem. Yeah, that's fair, Joe. That's fair. Grody's saying, I kind of want Scorpion to win. Oh, right, Soldier. Okay, yeah, that's sick, right? So you backhand yourself down to 1, then you backhand them to 1, and then you backhand them down to 0. Yeah, that's sick, that's sick. How does he have UO plus air shoot? The airing is currently being won, or is currently being contested by the keeper. Also, Athos can always just return Adaptive Shadows and play it again to win the air. Well, no, if you leave with grounds, Adapt returns. Yeah, Tenerim is defending. He's not attacking. I guess Motojuro can move if Adapt returns, but like Adapt can return and then Scorpion Stronghold is active. Yeah. Motojuro is the. Also, you can use the Scorpion. You can use the Unicorn Stronghold. Also, if you wanted. I think it's aggressive to leave. Apparently Hito Amaro was a card from the old game. I just found out in the Discord chat. There's people talking about it. He does have backhanded compliment. Okay, so Tenerim wins the airing. He does have one. Oh, you're right, Kibosh. Yeah, as soon as Adapt gets lifted, backhand and kills him. I keep forgetting that priority is just passed. In, like, Magic, for instance, you would just return him and then activate, because you still have priority. Yeah. Well, no, Joe, yeah, that's fair. He should have left then, I think. That is a fair point. I think that's reasonable to leave there. He can just do Fire Ring here, though, right? Like, you can just do Fire and it accomplishes the same thing. Fire actually kills Fire kills better. You think this is a tough spot for Unicorn? I think this is perfectly fine. He's just gonna do Fire here. How can he get the Dishonor? What do you mean? He has an attack here with Motojuro, and he has favorable ground and Motojuro activation. So, like, Athos here needs Fate Worse Than Death. We have 2 Fate Worse Than Death left for Scorpion. Yeah, if you get Fate Worse Than Death here, you probably die. I'm almost certain you die here. We know for a fact he has 1 backhanded in hand. Last time we saw his hand, it was Cav Reserves. Oh, we see a Court Games dishonoring Motojuro. Cav Reserves, Fan, Talisman, Favored Mount, Spyglass, backhanded compliment. So he doesn't really have anything. I think he might have misspent his fate here and not got saved up to 3. Having 3 for Cav Reserves is pretty huge. I think he put too much fate on that Border Rider. If he put 3 fate on a Border Rider in a game that was going to end in Dishonor in like the next 2 turns, I think you should have put 1 or 2 fate on that Border Rider. So we see Talisman, we see Let Go, not surprised. Probably should have seen a Spyglass maybe pre-conflict. I think Unicorn's gonna get dishonored here. You can put Spyglass on Moto Juro to try and you just need to win the conflict. You don't actually care if you don't care if you break. You just need to win the conflict. He has Spyglass. He can play Spyglass. And Scorpion is out of Let Goes, so to steal Spyglass, they... Yeah, exactly. Shoot has it. Scorpion has only calling in favors also. And if Scorpion plays an Edict, their only standing character has no strength. We see favorable ground moving him out. I am really confused why he didn't play Spyglass there. So now we see fire come out from Scorpion. If Scorpion has a first shame here, I think he's just gonna win. I'm pretty sure we're just gonna see a first shame here. No, he has 4 Gertie. It's 2 calling in favors, 2 let go. Pretty standard actually, 2 let go, 2 calling in favors. Yeah, there's the first shame to bow, not surprised. When your opponent has drawn this many cards. I think this is just dead for Unicorn now. I think he needed to put a Spyglass on his Moto Juro and hope that worked. Or I think he should have taken a UO on his Stronghold with the firing, because he's going to lose anyway. And maybe try and figure something out. Or he should have declared military first. There's just a lot of things he needed to do with this Moto Juro that is not what's happening here. I think this is going to be game. I cannot possibly see a way that it's not. It's a tight game, Ham Hops. Like, I mean, it's definitely tough when you're losing all game and then you see a path to victory. It's just really hard to parse how to win, right? Like, it's definitely tough. Yeah, there's definitely small... Yeah, and Tenerim says GG here. It's definitely... Yeah, I think he put too much fate on the Border Rider. It's just small things. Definitely, like, from my experience playing this game, I think I think this game comes down to a lot of small decisions and making optimal small decisions. You know, if you keep making small mistakes, they just keep adding up, and eventually you just get buried by your small mistakes. Is really what happens. I think otherwise this game is very good though. Yep, the Unicorn drought does continue. Grody gets his wish and gets another Scorpion player. I had a lot of fun streaming this game, even though the game itself was relatively boring per se. In terms of just like it's not a very action-packed game. It's just the nature of the matchup. I did have a really fun time casting and interacting with chat. So again, thanks a lot to everyone in chat for contributing. Thanks Soldier Token for subbing, and we have another game coming up at 2 o'clock. We have Phoenix Fox versus Eric. Crane versus Dragon. I will definitely be casting that. Gotta cast for dragons. Probably gonna go grab lunch right now since I have just enough time to take a shower and go grab some lunch. So if people want to check back in 1 hour's time, there will be another game cast. I might have a co-caster, I might not. So we'll see everyone then. Thanks for tuning in.